Good morning, dear students. Today I am coming with a fourth chapter, transpiration. So in the previous lectures, we finished chapter first, that is introduction to plant physiology. Chapter second, absorption of water, and third one is the ascent of sap. So during this syllabus, we studied that the plant absorb water and minerals through their roots, more precisely through their root hairs. The absorbed water has been distributed to the various part of the plant. How the plant can absorb water, that we studied in the mechanism of water absorption. Water absorption takes place by two types of mechanism: active absorption of water and passive absorption of water. Further, this absorbed water has been uplifted to the various part of the plant. This phenomenon we called it as ascent of sap. So in the ascent of sap, the absorbed water and minerals has been uplifted to the shoot tip of the plant from the root. So this phenomenon has been explained by two important points. The first one is the path for ascent of sap, and the second one is the mechanism of ascent of sap. So in the mechanism, the transpiration pool theory is useful for the ascent of sap. Transpiration pool or transpiration force that has been developed in the aerial part of the plant is responsible for the upliftment of the water and minerals. So a thrust that has been created in the aerial part of the plant, it has been transmitted through the continuous water column up to the root, and this force then uplift the water and minerals up to the shoot tip. So up to this we discuss our botany paper second, plant physiology. So during this syllabus we studied that the water has been absorbed by the roots from the soil. How it is absorbed? The water has been distributed to the various part of the plant. It is uplifted to the shoot tip, the mechanism involved. So all these things we studied up to this stage. Now in this lecture we are going to start our chapter 4, transpiration. So in this chapter we are going to study the definition of transpiration, types of transpiration, that is cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration, and stomatal transpiration. Next to this is the structure of stomata. So stomata are the minute pores or openings that has been present on the surface of the lip. So through the stomata, water has been lost in the form of vapors during the process of transpiration. Next is the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. So how stomata are open and close, that can be explained with the help of a mechanism. So this mechanism of opening and closing of stomata can be explained with the help of Stewart's hypothesis, active K plus transport mechanism. Next to this is the factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So there are external and internal factors that affect on the rate of transpiration. Then the significance of transpiration, anti-transpirants, guttation and exudation. So guttation and exudation, these are the two phenomenon similar like the transpiration, where also the water loss has been takes place from the plant. So this is the points in this syllabus we are going to discuss today. So the first we are going to study the introduction. So plant absorb a large amount of water from the soil by the roots. So that we seen in the chapter second. The plant absorb water from the soil through their roots, more precisely by the root hairs. This absorbed water is carried to the aerial part of the plants, and only a fraction, that is 1 to 2% of it is utilized by plant to perform various biological activities, while most of the water, so the figure is very large, 98 to 99% of water is lost in the form of water vapors. So of the amount of water absorbed by the plant, 98 to 99% of the water has been lost in the outer atmosphere in the form of water vapors. Only fraction, that is very small quantity, 1 to 2% has been utilized by the plant to perform its various metabolic activities. From this it is clear that the total amount of water absorbed by plant exceeds their the actual needs. Thus there is always surplus extra water in plants. This surplus water is lost from the aerial surface of plants in the form of vapors. This is called transpiration. So it is a phenomenon of water loss from the plant body. So of the total amount of water absorbed by the plant, the large amount of water has been lost in the form of vapors from the aerial surface of the plant. So this phenomenon is called as the transpiration. So in the figure I am going to discuss the transpiration phenomenon. So a plant absorb the large quantity of water from the soil through their roots. Of this absorbed water, it is translocated to the or distributed to the various part of the plant. So along with water, the mineral nutrients dissolved in the water are absorbed by the roots, and that has been uplifted to the aerial part of plant by the phenomenon of ascent of sap. So the total amount of water absorbed by the plant that has been evaporated during daytime when there is a sunlight, when there is a high temperature, the large amount of water has been evaporated from the aerial surface of the plant. The aerial surface of the plant that possesses leaves and stem. So the most of the water loss has been takes place through the leaves, more precisely from the stomata. So the stem and the leaves are the main transpiring organs of the plant, which forms the aerial part of the plant. So during daytime when there is a sunlight, it loses the large amount of water in the form of vapors through the aerial surface. So this phenomenon is called as the transpiration. Now the definition of transpiration: the loss of water in vapor form, that is in gaseous form, from the aerial parts of the plants is known as transpiration. The aerial parts like stem, leaves, through this the water has been lost in the form of vapors in gaseous form. So this phenomenon is called as the transpiration. I am going to repeat it again: the loss of water in vapor form from the aerial parts of the plants is known as transpiration. The next one definition is: the water is lost from a plant primarily in the form of vapors through a process known as transpiration. Similarly, the water is lost from a plant primarily in the form of vapors through a process known as transpiration. So out of these two definitions, I think the first one is a precise definition: the loss of water in vapor form from the aerial parts of the plants is known as transpiration. So during transpiration, a large amount of water is lost to the outer atmosphere through the aerial part of the plant. So this phenomenon we called it as a transpiration. A large amount of water is absorbed from the soil by the roots. Only a small required amount of this enters into the composition of photosynthetic product. As you know that the role of water in photosynthesis, water is one of the raw material that has been directly involved in the process of photosynthesis. So plant are autotrophic, they synthesize their own food material with the help of sunlight, water and CO2. So water forms one of the component in the photosynthetic product. So only a small required amount of water absorb enter into the composition of the photosynthetic product, and the maximum water is lost by the aerial parts of the plant in the form of invisible water vapors. This evaporation of water from the surface of aerial parts of the plant is called as transpiration. So transpiration is one of the important physical process that has been present in the plant, which is responsible for the loss of water in the form of vapors from the aerial part of the plant. So this evaporation of water from the surface of the aerial parts of the plant is called as the transpiration. Transpiration is not a purely physical process, but it is a vital phenomenon which is regulated and controlled by the living cells. Transpiration can be demonstrated by keeping a potted plant under a glass bell jar. So in the figure I am going to demonstrate the phenomenon of transpiration. We put a potted plant under a glass bell jar. So a potted plant has been put under a glass bell jar. The soil in the pot is watered and the pot is covered with a rubber or polythene sheet to prevent evaporation from them. So that pot has been covered with a polythene sheet or a rubber to prevent the water loss from the surface. So this arrangement has been done in such a way that the water loss should be takes place through the aerial part of the plant. So after some time, drops of water will appear on the inner surface of the bell jar. So that can be seen in the figure. This water has come from the aerial parts of the plant because we cover the pot of the plant with a polythene paper or polythene sheet or a rubber, so water loss only takes place through the aerial part of plant. So due to which the drops of water will appear on the inner surface of the bell jar. This water has come from the aerial parts of the plant. So by this experiment we can demonstrate the transpiration. Next to this is the types of transpiration. Most of the transpiration takes place from the leaves that we seen in this demonstration experiment, which is known as the foliar transpiration. So this word foliar transpiration, when the transpiration takes place from the leaves, which is known as foliar transpiration. Though water is also lost from stems, flowers, fruits, etc. Transpiration may take place through the cuticles, lenticels and stomata, and based on this transpiration is of the following three types. So when the transpiration takes place through the cuticle, it is called as cuticular transpiration. When it takes place through the lenticels, it is lenticular transpiration, and when transpiration occurs through the stomata, we call it as a stomatal transpiration. So there are three types of transpiration based on which part of the plant, which cell of the plant where the transpiration occurs. There are three types of transpiration: cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration. So the first one is the cuticular transpiration. When water is lost through the cuticle, it is called as cuticular transpiration. As you know that the cuticle is a waxy coating or a layer present on the epidermis of the leaves and herbaceous stem. The main purpose of the cuticle is to prevent the loss of water from plant. So this is the natural arrangement has been made in the plant to prevent the water loss from the leaf surface and from the stem. But water is lost through it when there are some cracks in it and when it is in the form of a thin layer. So in some plant the water is lost when there are some cracks in the cuticle or when it is in the form of a thin layer. Nearly 5% of water is lost through the cuticle. As cuticle is impervious to water, it does not allow water to pass through it easily. Hence cuticular transpiration is inversely proportional to the thickness of the cuticle. When the cuticle is thick, it prevents the loss of water, and when it is thin, then the water has been lost through the cuticle. So if you see the figure, nearly 5% of water is lost through the cuticle. So it is found to be the negligible as compared to the other type of transpiration. For example, in stomatal transpiration, the large amount of water has been lost in the form of vapors. So the water loss through the cuticular transpiration occurs when it is in the form of a thin layer. So due to this, cuticular transpiration is inversely proportional to the thickness of the cuticle. When the cuticle is thin, the water has been lost. If it is thick, it prevents the water loss. Next type is the lenticular transpiration. So before going for the lenticular transpiration, one thing I am going to discuss again, the cuticular transpiration. So those plants we found in the nature are growing in the shaded places have thin cuticle, while those plants are exposed to the direct sunlight have thick cuticle. So this arrangement has been made to prevent the water loss. So in case of xerophytic plants that has been grown in the area where there is a scarcity of water have the thick cuticle to prevent the water loss, while those plants which are growing in the shaded places have thin cuticle. So to prevent the water loss, the cuticle plays an important role, and it is meant to prevent the loss of water from the plants. Next to this is the lenticular transpiration. When transpiration takes place through the lenticels, it is called as lenticular transpiration. So what is lenticel? So if you see the structure of the lenticels, in case of woody plants, after secondary growth, the epidermis is replaced by periderm or cork. So after secondary growth, so what is secondary growth? So in case of woody plant, those possesses the cambium in between the xylem and phloem. So the function of the cambium is to produce the secondary xylem towards inner side and secondary phloem towards outer side, due to which it increases the girth or the diameter of the stem. So the secondary growth is responsible for the increase of diameter or the girth of the stem. So during the secondary growth, the epidermis is replaced by the periderm, because inside the stem, when the cambium produces the secondary xylem and secondary phloem, so the new cells are formed in the stem. So to cope up the space present in the stem, the epidermis is replaced by the periderm, and those outer layer consist of dead cells called as the cork tissue. When after secondary growth, the epidermis is replaced by periderm, whose outer layers consist of dead cells or the cork cells. Thus lenticels are the slits in the bark of woody plants which are filled with loosely arranged cells known as complementary cells. So in the figure we can say that the complementary cells which are arranged above the cork cell, the arrangement of the complementary cell, it is loose. So through these intercellular spaces, the water has been lost to the outer atmosphere. So what are the lenticels? The lenticels are the slits in the loosely arranged complementary cells found in woody plants. So water vapors escapes out from these complementary cells of lenticels. So this type of transpiration is called as the lenticular transpiration. So when the transpiration takes place through the lenticels are the slits in the bark of the woody plants and which are filled with loosely arranged complementary cells known as the complementary cells. Lenticular transpiration occurs in the stem of woody trees and fruits. It is quite negligible because the amount of water transpired through lenticel is about only 0.1% of total loss of water by the whole plant. So it is negligible. About 0.1% of the water loss has been takes place through the lenticular transpiration. Next to this is the stomatal transpiration. When loss of water through stomata is called stomatal transpiration. So before going for the stomatal transpiration, we are going to study the what is stomata. So stomata, singular stoma. Stomata are the minute pores or openings present in the epidermis of the leaf. If you see the structure of the leaf, if you take the TS of the leaf, we can see the epidermis, cortex or epidermis, mesophyll cells, that is the palisade tissue, spongy tissue, vascular bundles. So leaf has two surfaces, upper surface and lower surface. So the stomata are the minute pores or openings present in the epidermis of the leaves. So leaves have two surfaces and it also have two epidermis, upper epidermis and lower epidermis. So the epidermis which is present on the upper surface of the leaf, we call it as upper epidermis, while the epidermis present on the lower surface, it is lower epidermis. So the stomata are present on the epidermis of the leaves. Generally the number of stomata is more on the lower surface of the leaves. So in some plants, for example in monocots such as grasses, they are equal in number on the upper and lower surfaces. In aquatic plants such as Pistia, Eichhornia, they are present only on the upper surface of the leaves. So these are the aquatic plants, so they are present only on the upper surface of the leaves, because on the lower surface of the leaves it is deep, it is floated on the water. So the stomata are only present on the upper surface. But in case of monocots, for example grasses, they are equal in number on both upper and lower surfaces, while in some plants, for example in some dicot plants, the stomata are present only on the lower surface of the leaves. Stomatal transpiration is lowest when stomata are fully closed, and it is rapid when stomata are fully open. So the transpiration occurs through the stomata only when the stomata is open, and when the stomata is closed, the transpiration is stopped. So stomata occupy 1 to 2% of the total leaf area, about 80 to 90% of the water is lost by stomatal transpiration. So the stomata that has been present on the surface of the leaves. So in the figure 4 we can see the stomata that has been present on the leaf surface. So stomatal transpiration is lowest when the stomata are closed during night time, and when the stomata are open the transpiration is rapid, and about 80 to 90% of the water loss has been takes place through the stomatal transpiration. So in this way we finish our first 2 points: the definition of transpiration, types of transpiration, that is cuticular, lenticular and stomatal transpiration. So by definition, transpiration is the loss of water in the form of vapors or in gaseous form through the aerial parts of the plant, that is called as the transpiration. So when the transpiration takes place through the cuticle, lenticels and stomata, there are 3 types of transpiration, or one can say that based on this there are 3 types of transpiration: cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration. So in this way we finish our first 2 points: definition and types of transpiration. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.